Okay, this can be a little bit confusing, but once you get the hang of it, it should go fairly smooth. It said each pair of points lies on a line with the given slope. Find x or y. So I have two coordinates, 1, y, and 5, 5. Now the slope of these coordinates, or of the line, is negative 1 over 2. Our job is to find what the variable y is equal to. Now I'm going to go up here because I don't have a lot of workspace if I just start here. Now, what's the formula for slope without a graph? It's y minus y. You say rise over run, but that doesn't work unless you see a graph. Y minus y, x minus x equals the slope, or you can put m if you want. So my slope is negative 1 over 2. Okay, easy enough. Now over here, minus. So I've got 1y and 5, 5. Well, if I compare my x's, xy, xy, 5 is bigger than 1, so that's the coordinate I start with. So I put 5 over 5. Then I put y over 1. Well, in that ratio, 5 minus 1 I can calculate. That's 4. That can be evaluated, but 5 minus y can't. Okay. Now we have a proportion. Okay, it's a ratio. They form a proportion. Now you can't cross multiply and divide, but we know that this times this, 5 minus y times 2 is equal to negative 1 times 4. Okay, well, what I'm going to do then is my a times b equals c times d, because this times this is equal to this times this. Okay, so make an equals with two sets of parentheses, with a set of two sets, one on each side. So a times b is equal to c times d. Okay, so a is 5 minus y. Okay, I would make that a plus negative and put a 1 there, and then times b, b is 2. Now c times d, you're going to have negative 1 and 4. Now on the right side, negative 1 times 4, that's easy to find. That's negative 4. Now over here with this plus, we drop the plus and we have to distribute the 2. 2 to negative 1y, 2 to 5. It doesn't matter which one you do first. Okay, so 2 times negative 1y is negative 2y. 2 times 5 is 10. So we have negative 2y plus 10, or 10 plus negative 2y. It doesn't matter, because over here you got times negative 2 and plus 10. So then you subtract 10. Negative 4 minus 10 is negative 14. And then we just divide by negative 2, and that equals 7. So y equals 7. Okay, so 1, 7, 5, 5. Okay, next problem. 0, negative 1, x, 3. Okay, so I have to find the value for x. So xy, xy. Now this one's going to work a little bit different. Okay, it's actually going to not take as long, but only because of one thing. So slope. Now first off, the slope. If you have a slope that's not a ratio, you put a 1 under it. Okay, because the slope is 2 over 1. You're going to want that 1 there. Then, so compare x's now. You have 0 and x. Well, how are you supposed to compare x's when you don't have one of the x's? Well, use that then as your lead. I would use the one with the variable as my lead. So it's 3 over x, then negative 1 over 0. Do you have to do it that way? No. Okay. You could go the other way and start with this one. Doesn't matter. Okay, so 3 minus negative 1. I can figure that out. It's 3 plus 1, which is 4. Now here's a nice thing. Okay? What's up?
Is that a pencil? Or a pen? Either.
How long is it going to take?
Not that long.
Like, yeah, here you go. Sorry, yeah, that's the one I'm doing. So.
Thank you.
Okay, so anyway, x minus 0, you don't need the 0, you can just put x. Well, 4 times 1 is equal to x times 2, so I can just cross multiply and divide that. Okay, so 4 times 1 is 4, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, cross multiply and divide. 4 times 1 divided by 2, x would be 2. Okay, so we worked out nicely on that one. Okay, my next one. Slope is negative 1/3, and then xy. So again, y minus y over x minus x equals our slope. Okay, so the slope is negative 1/3, and then minus. So if I compare x and 5, we have that same thing going on where we can't compare the x's, so I will start with the x. So I'll put negative 3 over x. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, no problem. And then negative 4 over 5. Okay, now I can simplify the top of that ratio, because negative 3 minus negative 4 is negative 3 plus 4, and that's 1. X minus 5 remains the same. Now I can't get rid of the minus 5, so I have to go back to my A, B, C, and D method. Okay. So I know that A times B is equal to C times D. It was on the other one too, I just had a quicker way of doing it. Okay. So A is 1, B is 3. C is negative 1, D is x minus 5. Make that plus negative. You can put a 1 there if you want. So on the left, 1 times 3 is 3. That's simple enough. But over here, we have to distribute negative 1 to 1x and negative 1 to negative 5 with that plus. So negative 1 times 1x is negative 1 with x, and negative 1 times negative 5 is 5. So x is on this side, but it's got some operations that we need to get rid of. So we have a times and a plus. So we highlight the times, minus 5, minus 5. So 3 minus 5 is negative 2, and then we have negative 1 times x. So I divide by negative 1, and 2 equals x. Okay? So we figured it out. Okay, next problem. We have 4y and 8, negative 6. Slope is 2. You're going to want to put a 1 under that. So y minus y over x minus x equals our slope. So the slope's 2 over 1. And then y minus, and then, whoops, I don't know why I'm doing that. Let's fill in the y minus y, as much of it as we can. So now I have two x's, a 4 and an 8. Let's start with have that as a starting point. 4, 8. 8's bigger than 4, so negative 6 and 8. Okay, then after the minus we have y and 4. So 8 minus 4 we know is 4. Okay, so that could be calculated. And then the other one just stays the same. Oh, sorry, I'm kind of not showing my work very well here. 2 over 1. Now the y has an operation with it, so instead of cross multiplying and dividing, we use the ABCD method. So parentheses on each side, and then A times B is equal to C times D. So A is negative 6 minus y. I'm going to make that plus negative and put a 1 in front of the y, and then times 1. C is 2, and D is 4. This side's easy to simplify. 2 times 4 is 8. This side with that plus, we need to distribute 1 to negative 1y and 1 to negative 6. Here, I'll show what I'm doing. So that's going to be negative 1y, and that's negative 6. So I drop the plus down, and the two terms I have is negative 1y and negative 6. So we got a times and a plus. You get rid of the negative first by adding, okay? Because you have plus, but it's with a negative, so I'd add. So 8 plus 6 is 14. So negative 1 times y equals 14. So I divide by negative 1, and y equals negative 14. So that's your y value, negative 14. Okay, next one. I've got 2, 4, and x8. Slope is negative 2 over 1. Okay, so xy, xy. We have to find what the x equals. So y minus y x minus x equals the slope. And the slope we know is negative 2 over 1. Okay, so I'm comparing my x's, 2 and x, so it'd be x. So let's start with x, so we don't know which one's higher. We can start with either one of them. I'll put 8 over x. I kind of like to start with my x first, then 4 and 2. Okay, so if I simplify this, 8 minus 4 is 4, and then x minus 2 can't be simplified. But I know that 4 times 1 is equal to negative 2 times x minus 2. So I've got A, B, C, and D. Okay. So A times B, C times D. So A is 4 and B is 1. C is negative 2 and D is x minus 2. So the left side is easy to simplify. It's just 4 times 2. That's 4. But on the left, you got this minus operator, which is a plus of a negative. Okay, negative 2 times 1x, negative 2 times negative 2. There's the plus. So it's going to be negative 2x and then 4. So x is here with two operations, a times and a plus. So I would minus 4. Minus 4, I get 0. Then we undo the multiplication with division. 0 divided by negative 2 is 0. Okay, you can get 0 for an answer. I mean, 0, 8 is a coordinate. On the x-axis, 0's in the middle, then y, you're up at 8. That's a point. Okay, 4, 3, and 5y. So xy, xy. So I compare my x's. So y minus y over x minus x equals the slope. Now you're going to want to apply a 1 under that, so 3 over 1. So 4 and 5, 5's higher, so it'd be y over 5, and after the minuses we'd have 3 over 4. Okay, 5 minus 4 simplifies to 1. Now keep that 1 there, because now we have y minus 3 over 1 equals 3 over 1. Okay, there is a quick way to do this, and I'm going to show you it here. If the bottom ratios match, which they do, 1 equals 1, they match, you can get rid of them, okay? If they match. You're like, well, I haven't done that before because I haven't matched before. Okay, so I just have the minus 3. Okay, it's a negative 3, so plus 3 plus 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, so y equals 6. Now, if you did the A, B, C, D, it would work, but, you know. Okay, next problem, we have 2, 4, and x, 8. Slope is negative 1 over 2. So, y minus y, x minus x equals my slope. Well, the slope is negative 1/2, negative 1 over 2. By the way, the negative's just with the 1. And then set up, fill in your slope formula. Okay, so I compare x's, can't do it, and then 8 over x, then 4 over 2. Okay. So 8 minus 4 is 4, and that expression stays x minus 2. Again, we cannot, by the way, you're like, oh, the bottoms match. No, they don't. That's an x minus 2, that's a negative, that's a 2. Okay, they do not match. If it was x minus 2, they'd match, but they don't. Okay, so 4 times 2 is equal to c times d. So equals, you set up your 2 parentheses. So a is 4, and then b is 2, and then c is negative 1, d is x minus 2. So over here, 4 times 2 is 8. Over here, that's a plus negative, so we're going to distribute negative 1 to 1x, negative 1 to negative 2. So I drop the plus, negative 1x, and 2. So over here, we got a times and a plus, so minus 2. Minus 2, you get 6. Then divide by negative 1, and 6 divided by negative 1 is negative 6 equals x. 3y, 1, 9, slope is negative 5 over 2. So negative 5 over 2. So we got 3, 1. 3's higher, so it's going to be y, 3. And then 9, 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. So we now have y minus 9 over 2 equals negative 5 over 2. Okay, so then I apply A times B. Oh, whoa, I think we can cancel those out again, can't we? Because they are identical. Again, only do that if they're identical. Now we just have plus 9. It's a negative 9, but you're adding 9. By the way, this subtraction operation, you can always just add if you don't want to do the plus negative. Negative 5 plus 9 is 4. Okay, I would have got 4 if I did the ABC too. Okay. Okay. Now it makes sense because 4 minus 9 is negative 5. 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay, all fills out.